Welcome to this episode of Lie of the Land, where I find musicians, writers and artists and we take a wander through the Shetland landscapes that have inspired their work. Tonight's programme is entirely devoted to one of my favourite places in Shetland, STL. Musician Freda Leask, founder of the Shetland band Sjoermel, takes me back to her childhood home, and we walked from Otterswick around the Ness of Whain to Otterswick on a bright, breezy day in June. As singer and songwriter, Freda has a great ability to translate historical events, from a dying man's letter to his friends to the tragedy of the Boathouse wreck, into song. We start in Otterswick at the famous shop, perhaps emporium is a better word, which is all bound up in her family history, as she explains.
Just outside me grandfolk's house, Rockley, where my uncle started up the knitting factory and granddad started the shop, so it's all very nostalgic.
It's a very fine day, kind of blowy, but lovely.
It's a bit blowy. I think we're for a blustery walk, but I think it'll be good. It's fine and bright and it'll be bonny en route.
So I think we go down this way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Down to Lower Taft is the side. It seemed miles away when I was pitty. When I was here ranting about the doors of grannies, and you seemed like a great piece down the road, but it's just not very far at all. This was Rockley. This one my dad was brought up with his brother and his sister.
And who was your dad?
Alfred. We called Alfie, Fred or Alfred. I thought Kenton was different. There were different names. And Granddad started the shop here. This was the original Otterswick shop, this pitty place.
Yeah.
And again, it seemed a lot bigger. And I just loved coming out here on Saturday to get your comics and stuff. And I was actually speaking to my aunt about you, and this walk of mine set me on a bit of a history tour. It was really interesting, and it turned out that Granddad came back for the selling me £100 and he wanted to start the shop. And he didn't think £100 was enough, so he got to Lerwick to speak to the bank manager to ask for another £100. And the bank wouldn't give him it because he didn't have collateral just as a young person. So he came home here, and sometime after that the bank manager contacted him, and he'd done a bit of digging and investigating to find out what this young person was, and thought he was somebody who would make a go at, find out about him, and he offered him the £100 out of his own pocket. But by that time Granddad was decided he was just going to try with this £100, and he said thanks but no thanks, but it was awful kind of good of him to get back just with his own cash. And I actually have got the receipt for the first year, 1931. I was speaking to my aunt about this, and she had the receipts for the first 3 years, so it's been very interesting hearing all these family stories.
So at that time, was there more folk living in Otterswick than there is now?
To tell you the truth, I don't know, but I doubt they were, because you can kind of point to where all the houses are new, or the ruins are, and well, they were just folk in them all.
Yeah.
They're like the South Puns and all that. No one maybe in my time, but certainly in Dad's time, he was rattling off West Side everywhere. But I mean, there's a lot of folk moved into Elfie. I left.
Yeah.
I'm here, and so it seems to be a popular destination at the moment for folk to come and live. So that's fine. And this was Lower Taft. We used to come down here. There's just like a big playground, really, because my uncle stayed up Upper Taft. You can kind of see the house up behind and he started the knitwear factory in the Old Byre. That's where the first factory was, with his knitwear.
Okay.
Norman Tulloch knitwear. It didn't look like yon actually at all. And then the factory was what was big at Yundro, the garage, the haulage, and the shop.
It seems like a really bustling place.
It was, and there were always things going on, and they were all trucks, and I suppose nowadays you wouldn't have been able to play. We played when the factory was being big, it's what we played in there. So, and then you go off fishing. I might be an off with Uncle Norman and Dad here in Otterswick, and I might them finning the meads, getting the boat to be, or if it was this or the next thing. Wish I can't more about that now as well. And being terrible for the Nissics, because they seem to be just that many of them circling the boats. And I'm not as being off with me boy now. They don't seem to be that many that does that anymore for some reason. Plenty of orcas and seals and things around, but I'm not seeing so many Nissics. So, and this was are we going the right way now?
I think so. Go to the sea, it said.
Okay. So it was to turn left, and I might think.
Yeah, but I looked on the map and I couldn't find where that was meant to be. So
this is still
we can literally walk across the park.
I think there is a right walk.
Yeah.
My cousin was telling me under it there's stylists and everything.
Yeah.
Big it, so
we'll fin it.
it's a few years for him been doing this ride. And then was the south punch for my forebears campy in all the ruins. There's the south punch, and then there's another note by called the Doll, some way, just over the hills, near odds to them.
Yeah.
So
Did you come back here a lot?
not enough. I was thinking as I was coming over on the ferry. I've just been caught up with busyness, and then of course I retired recently, but since I retired it's just been all this COVID stuff, so you're not really been able to move very far.
Yeah.
So it's been an unusual plan was to do a lot more of that, but it's not been possible, so this is great.
You still have family here? Or?
Yeah, but again they're just less and less. A lot of family, I had loads of cousins, but there's just no very many of them that's actually stayed. Can you go away to study, and then whatever happens there, you end up settling somewhere else. So
Yeah, you know why.
you used to come back here, especially when the bairns were pretty, because my grandfolk was all still living, and aunts and uncles, and the bairns you just kind of did the tour of cups of tea and fancies for a whole. You kind of just took forever to see all the stock, and I'm thinking, no, there's just less stock to see, which is vexing, but that's just how it
so
goes.
Funny here, like there's kind of pretty houses all around the bay, and the sea's just bright blue, and this really kind of embodies like the way that Ken Fox say about Yell, oh, it's just all the peat bog, and then around the edges there's just these absolutely gorgeous like white beaches and green grass, and it is just kind of idyllic.
Beautiful. And yeah, that's the thing, if you just drive from ferry to ferry to get done, you don't see Yell. Yeah. But you've got to go into Peary Roads and go around the edges, as they say, and there's just so many pretty nooks and crannies. It's beautiful. But that's it, that the middle is just moorland.
I think that sign says coastal path.
Is it? It's
Yeah.
got good eyesight.
I do. It's one of the few things that still works really well.
Oh yes, I see it now. Well, we shall follow the coastal path. This is a good walk to the White Wife of Whean, because there's the short way, and that's really the way I'm probably most familiar, because you just kind of park the car and walk about. Yeah. And it's just about 5 minutes or so. But if you want to have this good walk, then you can come this way, the long route around, and get a bit more of the sights. Now, what's the way to win through the gate? It looks probably wop it up. But this,
Yeah.
This is like what this is. I'm off for a walk around Queen with him. Yes. Okay, well, I'm going to get this gate shut.
Catch the white cape if you go right.
Oh, maybe catch a wild cape. There's some more things to take back with you. Spits and wilks.
My car is already full of stones and shells, and
I'm not sure about this rams, Jane.
oh, they'll be fine.
I mind interesting me when I was on a picnic with the bairns once in Bath, and I had to build them over the fence. Before I built them over, and then I was sprinkling on myself to try and get. But we made it.
Yeah.
So I even kind of bluffed. So do we?
Yeah, these are the blue posts.
Yeah,
It's full of agricultural innovation going on here.
I know, we do. It's shouldn't like salmon cage. We're just putting a
Yeah.
polycrub.
Have you?
It will just in the process.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a
Jeez.
craze. But Yun looks like another use for salmon cage
Yeah.
tubes. They're coming in, they're managing to upcycle them in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
Now, this is beautiful. This is where we used to go after the electric here. This Lake Beach.
Who did you go off with?
Dad and my uncle Norman, and my cousins sometimes. To be honest, I quite like just bobbing about in the boat and enjoying the journey, but I never was quite into angling with fish. Quite like eating them, but I can't say I'm totally into fishing, but I like the boating experience. Yeah.
So this is us down by the water here, going out around the nest.
It's a siggy floors, well, no floors, but they're not yet. Everything starts far ahead this year.
It's so far ahead, yeah. Yeah, strange spring.
But we can just enjoy all the floors when they come later on.
Yeah, they'll come. And just some
They
very,
appear.
very sad for my courgettes.
Oh,
Hand-reared, lovingly, sitting in the pretty fish box, dying.
yeah, that's just Shetland gardening for you.
Yeah. Well, not if you have a polygraph.
I have a lot to learn about that though. But there's lots of folk to ask now because there's a whole community out there that's doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's good to be out and in the sun. I was missing this a lot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day. And this is actually a lot more sheltered, this house. Lipton. That's a bit of the walk anyway.
So do you want to tell me a bit about your career and your music making?
My music making career,
Yeah.
It's always been a kind of a side job, a hobby. And I think I've been awful lucky to be able to do it like that. You kind of know how to just completely depend on it, because I think if I was depending on it, I wouldn't have maybe managed.
Yeah.
Because it's...
Well, few folk can.
Yeah, this is true. But so I probably started singing here in Yell. It was a really good community for encouraging that. We had lots of local events, we had regatta concerts and New Year's socials and there were things going on in the halls. And we just, family and friends, met together and we took it very seriously. There were lots of practicing for it.
Yeah.
And a lot of encouragement for the generation of boys to be involved. So I think the first things I did was I was probably about 8, maybe even earlier as that, but I might sing at the harvest Thanksgivings with Mum and then just going to the Mid-Yell Hall was the first place to sing. And then with the buddy leaving, they had a... They had sort of Aylesborough travelling concerts that was very happening in the 70s. And they go around all the pretty places, like Yell and Unst and Bres, they go every kind of lots of, maybe select at different halls every season, I don't know. And they come and you had to, you performed at your concert and then they selected you to be taking part in one in the tune. And they had talent contests and things like that. So that went on for 20 years and that folk, was Gordon Hank Smith and Alan Anderson was the kind of men, a lot of teams that was working with Aylesborough took an interest in me and when they put on the concert the next year I was going with them around all the places in Shetland. And I think that kind of got you into keening the music scene and keening all the folk that was out playing.
Yeah.
And so it was really good to be able to be involved with such an early age.
Soaking it all up.
Yeah, and loving it. So as time went on, I started to I think I started to play the guitar when I was maybe 17 or 18. I was quite lit. Didn't really play on it. Just teaching myself or learning for the folk around me. It was well, sit and show you. No, I never did any music at the school. There's this music you kind of all hate to do, but I never took it as a subject, and I never really learned to read music. It's all done very much by ear, and so I learned to play the guitar just so I didn't have to depend on folk playing for me, because I wanted to sing, but you'd always have to think about, I hope I can do the same sort of thing, and that's put me in mind of a dandelion head where it's seeds and you're sort of imparting something into the next generation.
Let us draw us all together, let us linger for a while. Take pace to hear the sparrow's song and feel the summer smile. But what if all the pretty birds gone, and where's the scent of flowers? We're being biding for too far away our land. And as we sail away, we're making for home, back to the hills where we once camped.
The place that you grew up in the the form of the land and the shape of the land and every stone and the beaches and everything, it does make you, it makes your identity, but so do the people.
Yes.
And then seeing them maybe when they grow older in a different setting, you're speaking about that.
I was thinking that really an island, when you come from an island, I'm not sure that you'd ever experience that with such intensity as anywhere else. Maybe you do, but it's just, you ken everything, you ken their homes, you ken what they've done for you ken it, whether it's been at the school or the Sunday school or helping you to get your first job in the shop and all the rest of it, and then all of a sudden they're gotten, the generations are moving on and you see them in a different sort of place, and it's really emotional. I mind visiting the care home. My uncle was actually in there, and we got up, and then there was all this folk that I'm just speaking about, the kind of my old employer, my school teacher, me all sitting together and no really keening where you were, and it just felt really emotional about it. And I mind Dad saying they're a guitar and they'll give them a song, they would love that, and I just thought, actually I canna. I was just feeling like greeting, so I mean it was lovely memories, but the kind of experience like the stalwarts of the community and how they formed your identity and how much they'd imparted into me as a bairn was really special and really important, and I hope that I can kind of do that in the same way, and like the next generation we need to be able to do the same thing. But I think in an island it's quite, I don't think you'd see all the same folk all together in the same space. Yeah. And it's kind of overpowering. Even
just to be able to describe that situation and that feeling and put it into a song like you did.
Yeah,
well, the one you were mentioning.
Because I stood outside the door at the care centre and that line had come into my head, and that often happens. It's just, I don't know, my imagination or whatever, and it was the seeds upon where island wind keeps blowing. Because you're thinking, it's very reflective, you're thinking, what's the purpose of stuff? It made me kind of think like that. It sounds very kind of intense, but that's what I was thinking. What's it all about? And I thought, well, it's about, if you think of a dandelion seed, it can go on and then the seeds are scattered.
Where blood is in the soil and the seeds upon what island wind keeps blowing, and as we sail away, we're marking for him back to the ends where we once come fair. And as we sail away, we're marking for him back fair beyond to where we belong. And as we sail away, and as we sail away, and as we sail away.
Took a pretty while for the song to form. In fact, I was coming from Fetler, I was looking at the blue banks of Fetler yonder. I was been working, I was been at the school, and I was heading to meet, we were part of this project called Back From Beyond, and had to come up with a song with another group of folk. And I was meeting Alice Mully, Rich in Unst, with Angela Fraser and Jonathan, and I thought, I'll have to try and think about this song. And that's when the Island Wind came. The other bits of the song came. I was going between Fetler and Unst, and I didn't have my guitar was in the car, but I thought I'll have to get you undone when it was in my head, and I had an iPad and I played the kind of garage band thing. It's an iPad. I found the guitar-y thing and just plonked it out and recorded it before I got to the kind of, because you have to catch it when it's there, because often I don't. It'll happen and then I'll miss it. So I got it, and that was how the Island Winds song. And this idea, when you're in an island, I think, if missed folk probably, if you're on a boat, you're going away. Whereas in an island, you're going home. Or that's what it feels like to me. You've got this sense of belonging. You're actually going home.
Yeah.
And it's
It's why the kind of when I'm speaking to tourists who are going to my island, and you
Uh-huh.
get this kind of gulf between you, because in their mind they're going
away.
out, they're going
Yeah.
away to this far flung place, and it's away, and I'm
Yes.
going home, and there's no way to bring those worlds together.
That's what I'm meaning. It's just this idea that actually that's. So I had that kind of notion when I was coming out of soon kind of Fettler, Soon, and that kind of came together in a bit of a song that we used for that project. So I'm very thankful for that project. So because it maybe would never have come out if I'd know.
Yeah.
And the whole thing we did, because Jennifer McCormack was involved as well. There's Onsteins I had to be involved with, and she had something. Her and Alice did something called. Well, Alice wrote it, I think, and Jennifer sung it, and it was called Seeds. The whole thing was called Seeds, and it starts with Alice's bit, and then the last bit is the Island Winds song it. And we stuck them together in a kind of a sweet.
I think we'll maybe walk on the
Yeah,
I think it's a nice positive way to think. You're saying about the dandelion seeds, but things regenerate, because there is something just very, very sad, and maybe it's about growing up and trying to hold on to what you had, and then it all kind of slipping for your pretty hands, and all the old folk changing and getting old and leaving us, and feeling like you want to preserve.
You want
what
things
was
to bite
here.
the Sam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is just no. That's nostalgia, isn't it? And romantic.
It is, but it's hard to separate it sometimes from a kind of hard-nosed. When the populations of pretty places are going down and down and down, it's hard to separate that kind of pessimism for the nostalgia, and to be cheery and optimistic about things when things are looking not so easy.
And there's also just the whole sense of being. I think it made me think about that. For when you think about the scale of eternity, and you're a pretty seed at this time in this place, it makes you feel so petty and so minute. And what can you do to sort of impact on anything in that scale? But then if you think of a seed, it just goes to the next generation.
What's the line? From acorns, mighty oaks.
Yes.
And all that.
That sounds very grand, but that's what my thoughts were.
I think this is a fine place to have grand thoughts, because Fettler, it's one of those kind of hazy. I mean, there's no clouds at all, but it's got that haze about the banks.
Yeah, and we called in the blue banks, Fettler. I don't know if they look that blue today, but
I see why.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really dramatic, and see when you grow up looking at this, because you see them from mid-yell as well, kind of terrible to think that you took it for granted. It didn't really, but it's just it's so fair to body with.
Yeah, I think about this quite a lot. You can't. If we'd spent every day just exclaiming all day, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful," we wouldn't get anything done. I think you can have a kind of quiet, deep appreciation of the beauty of the land about you without constantly, pointing it out. Yeah,
that's right. Just being among it. That's another thing I think is good. Is working with the dialect. I mean, I think a few of the songs I've spoken about for this walk is dialect. I don't know, it's just the right dialect, but it just seemed, I don't know, the ones that you think about when you're doing walks or thinking about history tends to want to be in the dialect.
Maybe the ones associated with this place.
Yes, and also when I like the idea of taking poetry, dialect poetry, and putting to music. I think I would maybe need to try and do a bit more of that.
Yeah.
Did it with a couple of songs, I think. But it's a really good way of sort of preserving my dialect as well, because it is getting less and less as time goes on. There's less words that seem to.
Yeah, and then less variation between the different parts of Shetland and the dialects that they have. All gets kind of melded.
Comes together, yeah.
So, what's the land that I can see right in the horizon over there? Kind of lost my bearings.
Skerries, is it?
Is it Skerries? Yeah.
Skerries and Paul's, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Standing there at the haze, really.
You hear the Tyrricks.
Yeah. Now, how are we going to win across this?
Squelchily.
Is it bad?
Pretty bit. It's that lady's smock, that pretty purple one. Every year I try and mind all the names, learn all the names again of the flowers. What's the process of writing? I mean, you talked a pretty bit about kind of grabbing your iPad as soon as, just to try and catch it, but do you ever sort of sit down in a structured way and say, I'm going to write a song now?
No, really. I didn't write. I'm not prolific. I don't. You don't just pour off of me. It takes me a while, and I hear a lot of songs now. But that's because I'm getting quite old. No, I mean maybe I don't write like that because I'm not tried. Kind of, I sat down with my guitar and thought, right. I thought with this COVID I might have done a bit more of that, but I have to say it didn't seem to happen again.
Yeah, I think a lot of folk had those kind of thoughts, and then it turned out to be a bit more stifling than they thought.
Yeah. But the other thing that maybe helped me with the process, like I might get a line like you, and then, or I might just get a thought. Or somebody might just say something that'll sit with me. For example, with Turning Tide, that song. Then I was speaking to Mary Ellen Odie actually for here, for Burrivo, who was a rat songs herself.
We're doing this way.
We've been doing this way. I'm not going to speak till I get down this brew. Ooh. Just, I'm hide it. Yeah. She was telling me about me and folk coming to Yell, how our family kind of came to Yell. She's just said this phrase, she says, I heard that they had to wait for the turn of the tide before they could cross the Sund. And it just sat with me.
Lay my head upon thy breast and set me at thy lee. This land has been waar maken, samen trouw te voor. This land has been waar braken, Hans en herz er sår. Close we left the Midland. Schaffen wind and bitter cold, just as stacks were hand. This land has been waar maken, summer trouw te voor. This land has been waar braken, but nu this work is o'er. See the morning star. Waiting for the tide to turn, then I can come to thee. my head upon thy breast and set me at thy knee. Yes, I man bide for the turning tide, and then I'll come to thee.
Now that was where the clearance is.
And they were coming. Where are they coming for?
Well, the two sets of folk, me Abic folk, came for Colliferth kind of that big road that goes up the side of O. They were cleared for there. That's like my granny's folk came for there, but it's the other ones that she was speaking about from my mum's side. They came for Little Roo, and they were cleared for there. It's the mid 1800s sometime, and they came across. And I suppose if you look at West Yelland, the North Mainland, when you're thinking of boats and no cars, there are a lot of coming and going there anyway in that era.
Yeah.
But they came across after being cleared, and they apparently stayed under a sail in Breda Isle, which is another isle in the middle of Yell Sound. Pretty light aircraft. Stayed under the sail until they find themselves, or I don't know if they were waiting for the turn of the tide, but I like at the idea of that anyway, because it's just such a change of direction. And again, because they go through that terrible time, and when you look at the history of that, it's just awful, then it was for the betterment of the generations that was to come.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
And apparently, which was kind of an interesting historical thing I thought, was there were two big families that came. Mum was telling me this when I was researching into the actual story of them coming here. There was the Blances and the Tullocks, two big families. And one of the bairns, the Blance family, Elizabeth Grace Blance, there was no room for her in their house when they got to Arshell. So she couldn't stayed with the Tullocks. The other big family, as they probably did nowadays if you no room for the bairns of the house. And she ends up marrying Gilbert Tullock for that family, and that's my great-great-great-granddad. So I just thought, I would never have kent that. It's all been word of mouth stories. Go down on the beach to get.
Yeah.
And they settled in Westgel that once.
Was that something that was spoken about much when you were growing up?
I didn't think that much about it, to be honest. I mean, I was lucky enough to ken all my great-grandfolk by mum's side. So, I mean, that going into that house in Links was like going back 100 years. Well, mum and old dog. God,
Yeah.
And it was their folk, their mum and dad, it would have been them was living under their sail. So, but it has been spoken about, and to my shame, I'm not listened enough until now. When I think songwriting does that though. You
Songwriting
delve
and
more into the past and
yeah,
get more interest when
and
you.
storytelling too, which I guess it is.
Yes. And I
It
think
becomes alive, doesn't it?
trying to put that into a song really is a good way of preserving history and a personal history as well. To me, you can. And with songwriting, I think Shurmel really helped me with songwriting because I really enjoyed co-writing because you'd bounce ideas. I maybe didn't have a lot of confidence in my own songwriting, and I think it helped that to grow a bit, just being me folk like Joyce Work, and she was a tremendous songwriter.
Yeah.
And just meeting and walking out the beach and speaking about these ideas and then sharing it with her before you took it to somebody else or to the band. You kind of, it was a more, what would you say, comfortable way to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's quite exposing coming with a song, what do you think?
I can't imagine. Yeah.
And it's such a, I mean, some folk like them and some folk don't like them, and you've got to just tack all that in the chin. No, everybody's going to like your stuff. So I think Shurmel really helped me with that confidence building of songwriting. Because I think I was quite a late starter as well. I was hiding my bairns in my 30s before I thought I would give it a go.
I guess the kind of enjoyment of just playing the folk as well would have been encouraging.
Yes. And just the whole band thing was good. It's a big band, mind you, the right of us, so it was kind of hard sometimes to organise, but it was good for working together and crafting on stuff, and maybe taking a song to a place that I could never take it myself.
Yeah.
Like it was, they like it to work away intricately on the music side of it and make it something else. When I play it, it's very straightforward. But when you get to the band, they can just do all different kinds of things with it. I like that. Like painting a picture with something that you're all creating together. So there's a bit of give and bit take.
Yeah.
With that kind of songwriting. And you can't be too precious about your stuff because you think, oh, I don't really get this, what they're doing. And then by the end of it, you think, oh yeah, it's really quite nice what they've done with that. So you have to kind of let it go a pretty bit.
Change a pretty bit with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always good when you realise that you've changed your mind. So,
Right.
we've left Otterswick behind. We're very much in the hill, although still quite near to the sea.
I would say this is Otterswick probably beginning.
We walked around the headland. You tell us where we are.
We are looking in the mouth of Otterswick, which is coming. We can see the Black Skerry for here, and you can actually see the White Wife of Whean on the point yonder, and one or two pretty crafts. Further along, you actually see the lovely sandy beach of Gossabrock as well, and you can see the Horse of Boravo, headland kind of second away. What a beautiful day to pick to come.
And it's windy enough that, there's a fair bit of movement in the sea and some white waves crashing on the shore, but we can walk around in t-shirts because it's so sunny.
And we're seeing the turricks are here, gannet. So it's
all the pretty broom birds I don't know the names of.
Yes, well. But this, the story of the boss was, I decided I was wanting to, I suppose, put the history down as well. And plus, a lot of my family members were actually involved in the rescue, so it felt kind of personal. And Otterswick was actually my first home. When we started to walk around, I can show you the house that I was brought home to. So Otterswick was where my folks stayed when they first married. But the guy, Leslie of Whean, stays in the Croft house along here, and he actually witnessed the sinking of the ship when he was 8-year-old. He said to me, he was coming home from the school, and he belled his school bag in the door, and he said, come and see my bonny ship. And he said, out here, there's like a full-rigged ship coming. But he said it wasn't windy at all, it was calm, but it was kind of thick mist. And they were coming through here, thinking it was a throughway. They thought it was just an island, and didn't realise it was a week. And so by the time they realised that they were in danger, they tried to turn, and he said that the boat fell broadside onto the Black Skerry. That's what the place is called, the Black Skerry. Like yon, fell just broadside down over. And then he said the ship's mast was lying like to the side, and there were ropes for the top of them, and the man was climbing up the mast, so he stood and watched it for the shore, and then sliding down the ropes and then slipping into the water. And by this time, they were local men coming to try and rescue them out of the water. So it was quite a traumatic thing that he witnessed. And I mind Granny speaking about it, because her and Leslie were ages, and she never saw it obviously, but she minds about it because she was 8-year-old lass as well. And she said that there's just lines that I'm putting in my song. It's come straight for them sort of thing. She said they would never heard such an bonny singing as you heard in the Mid-Yell Kirk that day, surely, because the buried times it was lost is buried in the Mid-Yell Kirkyard. And she said, and they carried them shoulder high. She'd never seen that before. It was always, they carried them up here and had this beautiful singing. So it just was left, I don't know. It's more like the eyewitness side of the story. So you can read all this in the brochures and the history and all the rest of it, but it was something really special about actually speaking to folk that was there. And it was a German schooner, it was a German ship, the boss. But it was just actually the sight that he spoke about everybody coming down over the banks to try and get this man out of the water. And then he said that days after, stuff that was washed up on the shore. You don't read about that kind of thing, the stuff off of the ship, and there was folk doing it, the ebb, taking things for the beach, because they had nothing.
Yeah. And
then the other day he was coming home for the school, and he saw this big white thing floating in the water, and he couldn't go at the ground, adults, and he hauled this thing out with rope, and it was the figurehead of the ship. So that's what way it came to be. And they set it up on the point. That's so the story behind that was that.
Yeah.
So I thought tried to write that song, and I have Leslie Whean, actually. Leslie Whean, as we call him, Leslie Johnson, the late Leslie Johnson, speaking at the beginning. The pretty bit of his voice that starts off the song on the recording of the boss.
Yeah.
So it's nice to just preserve that.
And then you can see the master there. She was sitting at the back of the black sherry here. Behind her up, that was swiveling in by us, you know, waves come. And I could mind that man looking at him as I'm looking at the evening.
Hear the soft notes of horror whisper, lulling west, they're sleeping soon. Fish and must and unken water, let was come new and lay was doomed. And there she stood, the brood masts high. Nay man was watching, this fair some moder die. Nay man was listening, the storm within the common black was the scary, his broadside should fall. Running down now the banks to see them, families camping about the doors, hearing voices yell out for freedom, unken voices on unken shores. A rock made fast to fade their way, nay way to slip, but the rocks fade the sky. Nay way to grab, but the arms are strong, yell may. If the swell right there for them, they were gone. Men and women who that the gathering, wading in, they take their fall. Dark waters to share its manna, fist we swabbies and we moss. No there she stands, her head held high. A warning angel with her fist to the sky. The word of her hair, and she's claiming white. She's a mindful mead for the deepest night.
I'm not sure what quite to say about this white wife because she looks a pretty bit different.
Yeah.
I think the bottom of the plinth is gone
So I think there's a repair job or something going on, possibly.
and the plaque's no here.
Yeah. But still, the story is here.
Yes.
When I think about it, at this place, there's not very many houses populated now when I look around. I had an aunt that stayed in that one with a pretty caravan and there's not even a roof on it.
The one at the that's
At
the
view
right
at the
at the
shore,
beach.
a beautiful location, Yandra. That was Auntie Baba, as we called it. But yeah, this is where, as I said, the ship was, Leslie, we and saw this ship sailing in and then coming in thinking it was a way through and not realising it was the week of Otterswick and then turning, but too late, and falling broadside onto the Black Skerry and climbing up that rock and climbing up the masts and sliding down to drop into the water. He said it was calm, but there was an awful swell on, awful strong undercurrent. So there were a few of them lost, unfortunately. German ship, the Boas. So it's good to have a sort of a memory of her.
There's two white wives.
Oh yeah.
And doesn't that mean that, and I couldn't think of any other statues that we really have. So even though in the country as a whole there's like hardly any statues of women at all and they're all men, in Shetland
There's
we
white
just have women.
And I think there were a bit of controversy about what they called the white wife. The wife meaning opposite of husband sort of thing, whereas we use it as just a female.
Yeah.
And I think the Abic folk weren't having anything but the white wife. So, yeah.
No, you can call her the white woman.
Not quite the same, is it?
White lady.
The white lady. The white wife of Wian.
This is the kind of shorter route that I think most folk would be taking.
Yeah, you just park up. So you didn't where Leslie stayed. Into the croft.
Yeah.
So you just kind of park. There's a parking place at the side of it, and then you come down around this planty crub, and then you're on her, which is quite good. So if you turn back and look at her yonder, looking out to sea.
Yeah.
The word that her heart and she's clad in white, the mindful maid for her deepest night or something. Sure, she would be a fishing maid, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not totally sold on the blonde hair.
But this is a lovely spot.
I was just thinking, yeah, a fine place to bide.
And I think there's something with Otterswick, not coming this way, but it's coming the other way. Because I stayed in the house up on this opposite side up yonder. Can't see where first family home play here, but yet. But when you come down, kind of reminds me of Westerclarf.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I often think that when I'm walking through the valley, when you're coming down yon way, it reminds me a bit of that.
Yeah. Same kind of peaceful sense.
Yes. Now, do we go up or do we go around?
I think, is that the style there?
I think so.
Yeah. Here's a pretty egg.
Oh,
Starling?
Sterling's egg.
Or too, no, it's too big. What would you call that blue? It's
like a duck egg blue, but it's not so delicate. I think there's a lot of like crofts around that there's loads of places you could somehow buy and fix up because there's so many vide houses.
Yeah. Well, as you said, I think a lot of people are moving to Yale for a cheaper property.
No, I think if we're going the right way here, I know you look like a crow, but can you win it by? Oh, this way.
This, yeah, I think over the stiles.
Looks like the obvious way, does it? There's a lovely spot for a house too, boy.
Yeah. Such a contrast between, because we are finally getting the green grass now, but between the green grass and then the hill looming up.
Normally you just park yonder and walk in.
Yeah. Not us.
Yeah, it's a wee bit windy.
Yeah, we're in a slightly windier spot now. We're just coming back up past Otterswick, and you're looking back into this valley, which is very familiar to you.
Yeah, it is really familiar because there's a ruins of a house that's nearer the road yonder. It's a pretty narrow road that comes into it. And it's just the ruins, the roof is no on it or anything. And you know, it was my first family home. So it is very, I don't know, it's lovely to be here, but there's so many sort of ruins around, and there were folk living in this. And the other thing that I'm kind of smoothing at is there's a tin away looking out of the hill yonder. It's got sort of a corrugated iron building. Yun was where hall, the SDL hall, and yun's where we go to our parties, yun's where Dad go to so many dances, he said, when he was a young man. There were 3 dances a week he would go to in Yale, set off on the push bike or the motorbike, and it was just wooden floors and tilly lamps and no right toilets, I mind. Well, I think the women had a kind of a rigamy fix, but they were nothing for the male side. And it was just so basic, but what in the funds we had yonder, and it just looks like an old shed.
They left here because they've moved to Mid-Yell and got a council house, but do you kind of wish they could have stayed here in a way?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how different it would have been. I had a lot of bairns to play with in Mid-Yell. We had a wonderful time in Mid-Yell. This has had lots of other things to offer, and we would come here and visit with ex-neighbours. I even had holidays here outside Bessie and Wally at Johnson that stayed next door to us. I might come in here sometimes in the summertime when I was pretty, and you would rant here at the beach and in the burn and everything. But Mid-Yell had lots to offer too, just it was different. We had a lovely beach there, and there were other bairns to play with, and very, very happy memories of Mid-Yell. Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, there's such a big island as well, though, because there's the kind of north to it, and there's Mid-Yell and there's South-Yell. And because my grandfolk we were for Awick, and we stayed in Otterswick, and my other granny was for Borravo, I tend to kind Mid-Yell south. Yeah. And up we good maybe to picnics and on to Brecon, and we good up Helio and stuff, but I didn't have as much sort of knowledge. The north bit, it's like 3 different islands, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously to me it feels like enormous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Gloop seems very fun, a long away.
Yeah, so there's plenty to explore here.
Yeah.
And I think plenty for me to explore, because you tend to, when you have a lot of relatives here, you tend to come up and just visit folk. And I maybe didn't do as much exploring as I could. I could come back and do a bit more. This has been lovely, just walk around somewhere I've not been, or a direction I haven't been before. And this is what's coming up to the old school. It's where my father go to the school.
It's a sign to tell us not to abandon our vehicles. And should you require a crap vehicle? That's an old sign, I think.
A crap vehicle?
Yeah.
To be moved free of charge. Contact. Never cared about you inside.
Yeah.
That's so direct. So they must have had problems with cars being dumped in your house.
Well, you have to put them somewhere. I wish there were more pretty pubs.
Yeah.
I feel like I was in the South End the other day, and it was the evening. I was like, wouldn't it be fine if you could just
go somewhere
pop
nice
along somewhere and see folk and like get the gossip?
Yeah, just nice places to go.
Yeah. We've come all the way around, nearly back at the shop, and you've a song called "The Mandolin Man" that has a deep attachment to this place. So tell me about that.
Does, yeah. We're standing here looking at the Ark, actually, and that's where the man that inspired this song actually lived there. And I first came to kind about him when there was a letter found in an old box of photos that belonged to my grandparents, just stayed in Rockley, which is a pretty house down the road, pretty bit. And where the original Awick shop started, because that was Granddad that started that shop in the 1930s. So this letter was there, and it was clearly, it's quite a sad story. It was written for a hospital bed, and he was all he could move was his hands and his head, but that he was very happy, and there was 7 of them there, but they're all very cheery. There's a car going by, and he said he had been playing a mandolin, and it just struck me that this person who was obviously not able to move very much was using his hands to give, and he was writing to folk. He was saying cheerio, and he was entertaining with music. It's just an incredible thing.
A bright and cloudless morning lies before me. I can see the dawn eternal, bright and fair. I will hold its hand like a true and gentle friend. while I still have a tune to play. Well, all your hymns of old are coming clear now. I can hear your voice and all it came to bring. You held my hand like a true and gentle friend, and now I have a song to sing. Oh, weep not for me, my brother. We know this is how it should be. We shall shout, we shall rise, we shall meet beyond the skies. Will you play a mandolin for me?
I didn't know what this person was, and he said that he was very happy, and as happy dying as he was living, and thanking everybody for being so kind to him. And after a pretty bit of investigation, I realised it turned out it was Granddad's first employee of a shop, and he was 23-year-old, and he died with TB in his spine. So that song is called The Mandolin Man, and it's hopefully sort of is a way of sharing that story in a meaningful way.
A bright and cloudless morning lies beside me now. I can feel its breath and hear its silent song. I have no fear, though the end is drawing near. For long ago my battle has been won. Oh, weep not for me, my brother. We know this is how it should be. We shall shout, we shall rise, we shall meet beyond the skies. Will you play a mandolin for me? Oh, weep not for me, my brother. We know this is how it should be. We shall shout, we shall rise, we shall meet beyond the skies. Will you play a mandolin for me?
So
We're coming to the end. So I want to thank you very much for
thank you.
telling me all about this amazing place.
It's been a very special walk, and I'll mind about this because although it's really familiar, I have never done it in your direction before. So thanks for asking me to be part of your programme.